The big alien ship floated above Earth like a giant silver mirror. Sunlight bounced off its smooth surface down to the planet below. In New York, at the United Nations building, people from all countries sat nervously as the aliens walked in. The alien leader stepped forward. His skin was almost see-through and seemed to glow under the lights. "We give you these simple machines as a friendly gift," he said. His voice sounded both high and low at the same time. "For us, this is old technology. Maybe it will help your people join the space community someday." Dr. Kim Hanna stood quietly in the back of the room. She didn't like the way the aliens spoke, as if humans were children being handed down toys. As the top engineer at Korea's Advanced Technology Institute, she had special permission to be there, but something felt wrong. "Thank you for your generosity," said the UN Secretary-General, bowing slightly. The alien leader nodded back, his large eyes blinking sideways instead of up and down. 3 days later, scientists around the world were studying the alien technology. Hannah sat in her lab, turning a small metal cube over in her hands. It was supposed to be a simple powered unit, according to the aliens' instructions, but she noticed something strange. "June, look at this," she said, calling her assistant over. Park June bent down to examine the cube. "See these connection points? They don't match the schematics the aliens gave us." June adjusted his glasses. "Maybe it's a manufacturing error." "On every single piece?" Hannah shook her head. "No. These extra connections serve a purpose. The aliens didn't tell us everything." While world leaders argued about what to do with the alien gift, Hannah quietly gathered a small team. She invited 5 brilliant scientists she trusted, people who thought differently, who weren't afraid to try new things. They set up in her private research facility in the hills outside Seoul. The building looked ordinary from outside, but underneath was a state-of-the-art laboratory. "The aliens think we'll try to copy their technology exactly," Hannah told her team on the first day. "We won't. We'll combine it with our own inventions and see what happens." For weeks, they worked day and night. They connected alien parts to human computers in ways the aliens never mentioned. They tried unusual energy sources. Most experiments failed, but they learned something each time. On the day the alien ship left Earth's orbit, Hannah's team made their first big discovery. They had connected the alien power cube to a quantum computer built on Earth. When they turned it on, the cube glowed blue, and the energy output jumped higher than their measuring tools could record. "That's impossible," whispered Lee Da, the team's physicist. "The energy readings are off the charts." "Try again," Hannah said calmly, though her heart was racing. They ran the test 3 more times. Each time, the results were the same. The alien power source, when connected to human quantum technology, produced energy in a way that broke the rules of physics as humans understood them. Hannah stood in front of the glowing blue device, her face lit by its light. "The aliens said it would take us hundreds of years to understand even the simplest parts of their technology," she said softly. "But I think we just figured out something important in only a week." That night, after the others had gone to sleep, Hannah sat alone in the lab. She couldn't stop thinking about why the aliens would give away technology with hidden potential. Were they testing humans, or was there another reason? She sent a secure message to her old friend at the Korean intelligence agency. "I need everything we have on the Zorathi ship's communications since they arrived," she wrote. "I think they're not telling us the whole truth." 2 days later, a package arrived. Inside was a data drive with recordings of the alien ship's transmissions. Most were encrypted, but one stood out. It was a message sent right after the technology handover ceremony. With the help of the translation software developed from the aliens' language lessons, Hannah decoded enough to understand the key part. Seed technology delivered to Earth. Estimated development time: 300 cycles. Monitoring protocols in place. Hannah stared at the words on her screen. Seed technology. Monitoring protocols. The aliens weren't being generous. They were watching to see what humans would do with the technology. Why give us technology just to watch us? She asked herself. Then it hit her. To see how dangerous we might become. The next morning, she gathered her team. We need to work faster, she said. I believe the Zorathi are testing us, maybe even spying on our progress. But they've underestimated how quickly humans can adapt. Over the next month, Hannah's team made more breakthroughs. They created energy shields by combining the alien power source with Earth's electromagnetic technology. They improved communication systems beyond anything humans had built before. Whenever government officials visited, Hannah showed them only small advances. She kept the biggest discoveries secret, hidden in a special lab behind 3 security doors. If the aliens are watching, she told June, let's not show all our cards at once. 6 months after the aliens left, Hannah stood in her secret lab, looking at their greatest achievement yet. It was a small engine that could potentially move ships faster than light, something the aliens had said would take humans centuries to develop. They handed us junk, she said to her team as they celebrated, but we're turning it into something that might one day protect Earth if they come back with bad intentions. Outside, the night sky was filled with stars. Somewhere up there, the Zorathi were probably waiting to see what humans would do with their gift. Hannah smiled. They were about to be very surprised. 3 years had passed since the Zorathi left Earth. Deep under the mountains outside Seoul, Hannah's small lab had grown into a massive research complex. What started with 5 scientists now employ over 200 experts from around the world. The main lab buzzed with activity as Hannah walked through. Scientists in white coats moved between workstations, their faces lit by screens and holograms. They came from different countries and spoke different languages, but they all followed the same approach. Don't copy the aliens, improve on them. Dr. Kim, you need to see this, called Lee Minho, waving her over to his testing area. As the head materials scientist, Minho spent his days finding new ways to use the strange metals the Zorathi had left behind. Hannah joined him at a testing chamber. Inside sat a small gray square about the size of her hand. Minho put on safety glasses and handed her a pair. Watch what happens when I expose it to the specific radiation band we discovered last month, he said, pressing a button. A beam of light hit the metal square. Instantly, the dull gray material began to glow with a soft blue light. Minho picked up a hammer and struck the metal hard. The hammer bounced off without leaving even a scratch. Now look at this. Minho aimed a laser cutter at the metal. The beam, which could normally slice through steel, reflected harmlessly off the surface. It's almost indestructible, Hannah said, touching the still cool metal through her gloves. The interesting part is that this only happens with Earth's specific radiation frequencies, Minho explained. I don't think the Zorathi ever tested their materials in our environment. They had no idea their basic metals could do this. Across the lab, Park Jun waved urgently from the weapons testing area. Dr. Kim, the shield test is ready. In the large testing chamber, a series of guns were aimed at a small device sitting on a pedestal. The device was no bigger than a dinner plate, with a simple on/off switch. Everyone behind the safety wall, Jun called out. When all were protected, he pressed a button. Firing test 1. Regular bullets. The guns fired in sequence. As each bullet approached the small device, it hit an invisible barrier and fell to the floor. Test 2. Armor-piercing rounds. The larger guns fired with a deafening bang. Again, the bullets stopped in midair and dropped. Final test. Hypersonic projectile. A special launcher fired a missile that moved 5 times the speed of sound. As it neared the device, it suddenly slowed and dropped harmlessly to the ground. The shield works by creating a field that alters the properties of space itself, Jun explained proudly. Any object entering the field immediately loses most of its energy. Hannah nodded, impressed but already thinking ahead. How much power does it use? That's the best part, Jun said with a smile. With the new power cores we developed, it could run for years on minimal energy. The next morning, Hannah was woken by a call. "Dr. Kim, there are military officials at the main entrance. They're requesting an immediate meeting." An hour later, Hannah stood in the conference room facing General Kang and 3 other military leaders. The general was a tall man with a stern face and perfect posture. His uniform was decorated with medals, but his eyes showed he was not here for ceremony. "Dr. Kim," he began, "word of your achievements has reached the highest levels of government. We need to see what you've developed." Hannah led them through the facility, showing selected projects her team had been working on. She saved the most impressive for last, a small room containing a single table with 2 identical devices. "This is our latest creation," she said, picking up one of the devices. It looked like a simple metal box with a small screen. "It can send messages instantly across any distance we've been able to test." "How is that possible?" asked one of the officers. "We combine the Zorathy communication technology with quantum entanglement principles," Hannah explained. "When you activate one device, its paired unit receives the message immediately, no matter how far apart they are." General Kang stepped forward. "The Zorathy said this level of technology would take us at least a century to develop," he said. Hannah nodded. "We did it in 3 years." The room fell silent. Finally, General Kang spoke, his voice lower than before. "Dr. Kim, what I'm about to tell you is classified at the highest level." He motioned for his aide to secure the room. 2 weeks ago, our deep space monitoring station picked up a transmission. It wasn't from the Zorathy. It came from another alien species called the Krith. Hannah felt her heart beat faster. What did it say? "They warned us that the Zorathy regularly seed developing civilizations with basic technology. They monitor these civilizations' progress. If a species advances too quickly, the Zorathy come back." Hannah finished for him. General Kang nodded grimly. "According to the Krith, when a species shows too much promise, the Zorathy return with their full fleet, sometimes to control, sometimes to eliminate the potential threat." Hannah's mind raced. The hidden connection points, the monitoring protocols in the transmissions, the condescending attitude. It all made sense now. "How much time do we have?" she asked. "Unknown, but based on our rate of progress, we should assume they're already watching us closely." Hannah walked to the window, looking out at the lab where her team continued working, unaware of this new threat. "The Krith have offered to send more information," General Kang continued, "but they're cautious. The Zorathy dominate this sector of space." Hannah turned back to face the general, her decision made. "We need to accelerate our research. Form a global defense initiative. Share our findings with all major nations." "That's why we're here," General Kang said. "As of this morning, you've been appointed head of the new Global Defense Technology Division. You'll have unlimited resources and the best minds from every country." Hannah nodded, her expression hard and determined. "Then we should make sure we're ready when they return. The Zorathy think they gave us junk, and we take centuries to understand it. Let's show them what humans can do when we're underestimated." As the military officials filed out to make arrangements, Hannah stayed behind, looking at the communications device in her hand. Soon, they might need to use it to coordinate Earth's defense against the very aliens who had provided the technology in the first place. 8 years had passed since the Zorathy first came to Earth. The planet had changed a lot in that time. Cities now had shield domes that glowed softly at night. Cars and trucks no longer used gas, but ran on small power cells that lasted for years. And in space, Earth had built its first real defense fleet. Hannah stood at the window of her office in the Global Defense Headquarters, looking up at the night sky. The stars were clear tonight, and somewhere among them, she knew the Zorathy were watching. Her assistant, Minna, rushed into the room. "Dr. Kim, they're back. The Zorathy ship just appeared in orbit." Hannah took a deep breath. "So, they finally noticed our progress." She turned to her computer and hit the alert button that would call Earth's leaders to an emergency meeting. The Zorathy ship was bigger than the one that had visited 8 years ago. It hung in the sky like a giant silver fish, visible even in daylight. People in cities around the world looked up in fear and wonder. Within hours, the Zorathi demanded a meeting at the United Nations. Their ambassador, the same one who had handed over the gift years ago, stood before the world's leaders. His skin seemed less bright now, and his eyes darted around the room as if looking for threats. "We are surprised by your rapid advancement," he began, his voice not as confident as before. "Our records show that your species has developed technologies that should have taken centuries to understand." The UN Secretary-General smiled politely. "We are quick learners." The Zorathi ambassador's skin rippled slightly. "We must reclaim our technological contributions," he said more firmly. "According to Galactic Law, Section 7.3 of our initial agreement." "There was no Section 7.3, interrupted Dr. Choi, Earth's chief negotiator. She stood up, holding a tablet. "We have the original documents right here. Would you like to see them?" The Zorathi ambassador's skin suddenly flushed dark purple, a sign of anger or embarrassment. The humans had learned. "A translation error," he said after a moment. "Nevertheless, these technologies were meant as educational samples only. Your military applications violate the spirit of our arrangement." The room grew tense. Behind the ambassador, two Zorathi guards shifted their stance, hands moving closer to devices on their belts. "Ambassador," said Hana, speaking up from her seat near the front, "when you gave us these technologies, you said they were outdated, simple tools that your people no longer needed. If they were so basic, why are you concerned about our use of them?" The ambassador turned his large eyes toward her. "Dr. Kim, your reputation has reached even our distant worlds. You have misused our gifts." "Improved them," Hana corrected. "We didn't just copy your technology. We combined it with our own ideas to create something new." "Unacceptable." The ambassador's voice rose sharply. "These advancements must be handed over to Zorathi control immediately. You are not ready." A loud alarm cut through the air. On the large screen at the front of the room, a new ship appeared in Earth's orbit. It was smaller than the Zorathi vessel but sleeker, with a design that somehow looked more advanced. "What is this?" demanded the Zorathi ambassador, turning to his aides. The answer came from an unexpected source. The air in the center of the room shimmered, and a figure appeared, a hologram of a being unlike either human or Zorathi. It was tall and slender with 4 arms and skin that seemed to shift colors like oil on water. "I am Ambassador Tal of the Krith Collective," the figure announced. "We request permission to join these talks." The Zorathi ambassador stepped back, clearly shocked. "The Krith have no business here. This is a matter between the Zorathi Confederacy and Earth." The hologram smiled. At least, the humans thought it was a smile. When one brings false gifts and plans conquest, it becomes the business of all peaceful species in the galaxy. 2 hours later, in a private meeting room, Earth's leaders sat with the Krith ambassador. The hologram had been replaced by the real being, who sat comfortably in a specially designed chair. "The Zorathi have done this before," Ambassador Tal explained, his 4 hands moving in graceful patterns as he spoke. "They find promising species and give them what appears to be simple technology. This technology contains monitoring devices that allow the Zorathi to track the species' development. So they can determine if we're a threat," General Kang said. "Precisely," the Krith nodded. "Species that develop too quickly are deemed dangerous and are dealt with. Those who develop slowly are eventually absorbed into the Zorathi Confederacy as servant races." Hana leaned forward. "You said they've done this before. What happened to the other species?" The Krith's skin darkened to a deep blue. "Most took centuries to make significant advances with the Zorathi technology. By the time they became interesting, the Zorathi were ready. Some fought and lost. Others surrendered and now serve the Confederacy. But we developed much faster," the UN Secretary-General said. "Your approach is unprecedented," the Krith explained, turning to Hana. Other civilizations attempt to reverse engineer Zorathi technology directly. Humans combined it with your own innovations, creating something new. What took others centuries, you've accomplished in a decade. Is that why you've come to help us? Asked Dr. Choi. Because we're different. The Krith's skin shimmered with golden flecks. We help because the Zorathi must be stopped. For too long, they have used their power to control or destroy other species. The Krith believe in balance. Your species may bring that balance to our galaxy. When the meeting ended, Earth's leaders had a decision to make. The Zorathi had issued their ultimatum. Surrender all derived technology, or face what they called protective intervention. In the final meeting with the Zorathi ambassador, General Kang stood as Earth's representative. The room was silent as he gave humanity's answer. "We decline," he said simply. The ambassador's skin turned almost black with rage. "You do not understand what you are doing. The Zorathi Confederacy controls thousands of worlds. Your defiance will lead to your destruction." General Kang remained calm. "Perhaps, but humans have never responded well to threats. We will not surrender technology we have rightfully developed." "Then prepare for war," the ambassador hissed, before vanishing in a flash of light, transported back to his ship. As the room erupted in worried voices, Hana exchanged glances with the Krith ambassador. The alien nodded slightly, his skin now a determined shade of red. The greatest test of humanity was about to begin. The morning sky erupted with alien ships, their metallic surfaces gleaming as they descended toward Earth. The Zorathi, confident in their superior technology, expected an easy conquest. But they were about to discover something extraordinary about humanity. Commander Vex led the attack fleet, his eyes scanning the planet below. His confidence quickly turned to shock as Earth's defense system, the Figoin X network, activated. Designed by a brilliant human engineer named Hana, the system used the aliens' own technological principles against them. Weapon after weapon was neutralized, their energy signatures perfectly countered. "This is impossible," Vex muttered, watching his ship's systems fail one by one. The Zorathi had never encountered a species that could adapt their technology so quickly. Suddenly, Earth's hidden space fleet emerged from lunar bases. These ships moved with incredible speed and precision, built from pieces of alien technology the humans had carefully studied and improved. The Zorathi, who had conquered countless worlds, found themselves on the defensive. The battle was short but devastating. Within hours, the alien invaders lost a third of their fleet. Humiliated and surprised, they retreated beyond Mars, their invasion plan in complete disarray. What the Zorathi didn't know was that their defeat had caught the attention of other species. Civilizations they had previously conquered watched the battle with growing excitement. An encrypted message arrived on Earth, proposing an alliance against the common enemy. Hana, now leading the Global Defense Technology Initiative, stood before the United Earth Council. She unveiled her most impressive creation, the Reclamation Fleet. These ships were more advanced than anything the Zorathi had ever seen. "They thought we were weak," she told the stunned leaders. "They gave us their discarded technology, thinking we couldn't understand it. Instead, we built something they can't even imagine." The first strike had changed everything. Humanity was no longer just a developing species waiting to be conquered. They had become a force to be reckoned with, turning the tables on an intergalactic empire that had never expected resistance. As the Zorathi regrouped and planned their next move, Earth prepared. The war had only just begun, but the first battle had made one thing clear: humans would not be easy prey. The final battle would decide everything. Earth's fleet, joined by ships from many oppressed species, faced the powerful Zorathi Confederacy in space near the aliens' home planet. Admiral O watched carefully from the UES Prometheus. Hana's technology was about to be tested in the most important moment of human history. The ships could change themselves quickly during battle, doing something no alien had ever seen before. "Enemy targeting our power systems," Captain Hume reported calmly. The Prometheus shifted and changed, its systems moving in ways the Zorathi could not understand. What was once a weakness became a weapon, turning the enemy's own energy against them. For 3 days, the battle raged. Alien ships that had once conquered thousands of worlds now found themselves unable to fight these adaptable human vessels. The human technology, built from pieces of alien trash, proved more powerful than the Zorathi's most advanced weapons. Finally, the Zorathi surrendered. Their mighty fleet hung helpless in space, defeated by the very technology they had thrown away years before. A new galactic council formed, with humans playing a key role. The species the Zorathi had once considered primitive had become a major power in the galaxy. Years later, Hannah watched ships from different worlds arrive at the Earth Embassy. Young engineers from many planets talked and laughed together, sharing new ideas and technologies. A Zorathi historian wrote the final words about their fallen empire. He admitted a painful truth. Humans had seen possibilities where the Zorathi saw only limits. They had turned discarded technology into something extraordinary, proving that creativity and intelligence matter more than past achievements. The galaxy would never be the same again. Humanity had risen from a planet considered unimportant to become a force that changed everything.